Hello, everybody. Charles Hamaker here with you. Circling Seattle Sports, another game reaction. This time, the Seahawks in their second straight Thursday night game fall to the Dallas Cowboys in a hell of a game. A little bit of an odd game considering the way that the first half went, the amount of penalties in this game, more DK sign language, whatever may have you. This was a tough one for Seattle. Seattle, as you've seen on the little screen there, lost three straight. Just something that's kind of rare in the Pete Carroll era. The offense did pretty well, but you obviously give up 41 points. Um, you go in there and you face a talented Dallas team, and you should have won this game, but you're unable to pull away. Looking at the final few drives here, the last three Seattle drives end in downs. So Seattle failing on fourth down and all three of those there. The last play of the game was a bit bizarre for the Seahawks. That was the last play for the Seahawks. And just a frustrating effort because this team continues to beat itself. We look at this here to start the game. Seattle gets a touchdown start with their first possession, a DK Metcalf 73-yard touchdown, a missed field goal after some weird messing around where Seattle gets a delay of game penalty after one of the officials had to spot the ball, and that was a little bit, the clock didn't reset. Seattle gets the penalty. Jason Myers misses a 41-yard field goal instead of what would have been shorter. Seattle does get a touchdown after that, a 7-play, 75-yard drive. And they get a touchdown right before the half, which was good because they got the ball right after the half. They scored a touchdown on that, threw a pick the next drive as Dre'Mont Bland is able to jump a route that Tyler Lockett was running. Seattle gets a touchdown after that, though, and then it's the downs. So Dallas basically outlasted Seattle in this one, and that's fine. This Dallas team has a lot of offensive talent. There's a lot going on with this Cowboys team. Dak Prescott has been solid all year long. CeeDee Lamb is an excellent wide receiver. That line is still dangerous. Tony Pollard is talented as well. But Seattle very much had chances to put this game away and to extend their lead to go ahead forward. The penalties play a part. There were some that were questionable. There were some that weren't called. But at the end of the day, the Seahawks are the most penalized team in the National Football League for a reason, and they continue to show that. And those silly mistakes, those undisciplined plays continue to hurt you, and they continue to be the reason or factor into the reason why you're losing these games and why you're not higher up in the division, potentially why you're not taking the lead in the division. Obviously, there's some other things that play into that, but the point is that Seattle's hurting themselves a lot in their most recent game. So we'll look over on the offensive side of the ball. DK Metcalf had an excellent game tonight. You saw the sort of player that DK can be, the offensive potential that he brings, the physical potential, the speed, the size that he brings. Was really bullying Dre'Mont Bland for most of this game. That big 73-yard touchdown catch. There was a weird drive late into it, into that first half where penalties and so much and so forth brought a few touchdowns back before finally DK caught the touchdown. And then he got his hat trick. I'm sorry, y'all. We'll get through this. DK looked great. And it was around the trade deadline, around that first half of the season ending, where some fans, because of some of the silly penalties that he had gotten, wanted him traded. And that was completely silly. You want a DK Metcalf on your team. I do, at least. I want to win games. I don't want to sink into mediocrity. I wouldn't trade the goddamn guy. So that's that. But no, DK, hell of a game tonight. He was our key player to watch. He showed up. Defensively, I was skeptical a little bit. And Jerron, if you're seeing this, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I was a little skeptical of bringing Jerron Reed back this past offseason through free agency. He played a hell of a game tonight on the interior line for this Seattle team. And he's been having a strong year throughout the course of this 2023 season so far. I can't be mad at it. He was an impact player. There were a few chances that Seattle had to make some other plays. Devon Witherspoon was flying around, making hits, swatting balls out of the air, almost had a pick. Jordan Brooks played a factor in this game, got a sack. Did leave this game though with an injury to his ankle. He left the game early into the this contest with a probable designation, but later on was ruled with a doubtful designation, and Pete Carroll didn't have any update of any sort afterwards. So unfortunate there for that. But John Reed has been playing well. We look at it, one turnover here, and that was the one where Deron Bland, I got Deron stuck in my head, jumped that route. Tyler was just trying to run an out route, and Deron Bland saw that, read it well, jumped ahead of it, and picked that off. After that interception, the Cowboys only got a field goal out of it, so the defense did a lot of bending but not breaking. It was just late where the Seattle offense couldn't get those fourth downs where Dallas was really able to pull away and add to their lead and eventually win this game. So I'm not too worried about the turnover side of things, which is good to see. Geno Smith was never sacked in this game. There was a play where it looked like they were going to run a flea flicker, and DJ Dallas got taken down for a sack, and that was the only sack that Dallas got in tonight's game. So not worried about Geno, despite a lot of the folks who have been making that chatter up all year. You look at the penalties for both teams. I mean, that's 257 total yards of penalties in this game, which is bizarre. Third down efficiency that you see there in the second to top on your screen. Seattle was a lot better on third down. They failed in those 3 fourth downs that I mentioned, but there's like the Kraken game recap that we just did and that you'll see before this. Or next to this, where however you're looking at it on YouTube, or if you're watching this on Instagram or Facebook. Appreciate you. There are positives to take from this game. Seeing the offense play like they did, seeing them adjust more to the pass rush, quick passes, screen plays, getting the ball out. That's positive. It's a tough situation right now because I'd like to see them run the football more. But Ken Walker was again inactive for this game. Zach Charbonnet left this game with a knee injury. Pete Carroll said it was more of a bone bruise as opposed to anything else. So we'll see about that. But force DJ Dallas into some more action. We'll probably see Kenny McIntosh at some point, even though he's probably working more and more back. But it was interesting with DJ Dallas because they had to bring him in for the final play of the game offensively, whereas the fourth down. It was very interesting because Micah Parsons, one of the best defensive players in the NFL, one of the best players in the NFL, certainly one of the best pass rushers, was left wide open, left unblocked, unmarked. And you wonder why, how is that possible? And this is by design. It's more of a slip play, a slip concept. So my white hand. The Seahawks offensive line here was all meant to slide one way to take out the Cowboys pass rush, and that would leave one man unmarked, and that was Micah Parsons. So DJ Dallas, who is if we're Geno Smith here, I'm cosplaying as Geno Smith. DJ Dallas is to my left. Micah Parsons is over to my right. All right, you following me? DJ Dallas is supposed to come over. As the offensive line slides left, DJ Dallas is supposed to come over to the right and pick up Micah Parsons. He's not really picking him up. He's supposed to fake the block and then continue out to the flat, leaving him wide open. And then, like a screenplay, Geno would take steps back to draw time and then float one over to DJ Dallas. And if he had executed this properly, he would have been open. But it was weird. DJ kind of faked the block for too long and ran into DeMarcus Lawrence on the Cowboys defensive line on a block. So even if Geno had just kind of floated it and hoped he'd gonna be able to get out there, there was no time for that. Plus, you add in the fact that Micah Parsons has 4.3 speed, all kind of made a mess for this. So in theory, the play isn't the worst, but the personnel with DJ Dallas and they're not the fastest guy in the field, not the fastest guy in your running back room, and the execution. So you take the personnel in the execution, it didn't work out. It didn't work out. Seattle turns the ball over on downs. The game is over. But you shouldn't, again, like we have talked about before, whether it's in articles or in these game reactions, you can't ever pinpoint really a game to one play. There are different things throughout the course of a game that leads into these things. You shouldn't have had to be in the situation where you're down by 6 points and you're trying to get the fourth down to continue a drive to go down and march down the field for a potential game-winning touchdown. That's not what you should be doing. You had opportunities to add on. You had 3 different drives there. Dallas gets the field goal to go. They're only down by 5. You turn the ball over on downs. Next, they get the touchdown. You have the opportunity to go and tie it with a field goal the next drive. You turn the ball over on downs, and they get a field goal. You get what I mean? So it's the penalties, the failure to execute. This is all on Seattle. It's all there for the Seahawks to put it together. They just haven't been able to take the puzzle pieces and put them together quite yet. So, anyway, they're going to really need to be able to do that next week when they play the San Francisco 49ers on the road down in Santa Clara at Levi Stadium. The 49ers are in the midst of playing 5 straight games against bird teams, which is unique. They beat the Seahawks on Thanksgiving, obviously last week, which was not the best game in the world. This is a 49ers team like this Cowboys team currently that the margin of error is so tiny, so small. So you got to be a lot cleaner. It was nice to get Abe Lucas back this week. You'd like to get one of your first 2 running backs healthy. But at least with some of the signs I saw tonight, I'm not completely worried. But at least with the continued fact that this team continues to hurt themselves, whether it's penalty wise, lack of execution, there's the worry there because you need to see them put it together at some point. If this is going to be a playoff team, this is going to be a team that's going to make any noise at all, even if it's a bit like a little squeak in the playoffs, you need to see them start to put some things together. So I apologize for the yawn there. Until we see you after the 49ers game next week, take care of yourselves, be well, do whatever you can to make today a great day.